Well, I think it's a demonstrable evidence that through society's demographics that being white has societal privileges that being black does not. But
we can talk about how that manifests, because that's
I'm also interested in what you just said now, is that you would stand next to anyone who has this. So, Mr. Shapiro, my question to you is, for Ms. Dunston, the tying the noose around the campus and writing messages that target African-American young students, would you consider that hate speech, and then would you stand next to her?
Hey Patriots, welcome back to the channel. Let's dive straight into this one. You're about to hear one of the most telling, most explosive moments in the congressional exchange, and trust me, it's about way more than politics. This is a brutal clash over free speech, identity politics, and whether honest debate even survives in America anymore. Representative Stacey Plaskett tries to corner Ben Shapiro with the classic trap question: do you believe in white privilege? Would you defend a black student targeted with racist messages, framing it as straight hate speech? She thinks she's got him pinned, ready to brand him as the bad guy. What happened next? Shapiro didn't dodge. He didn't backpedal. He demolished the premise with ice-cold logic and left the room completely speechless. This wasn't a response. It was a savage takedown.
Now, it's interesting, Mr. Shapiro, you talked about white privilege. And just this week, I had a conversation with Rachel Lazar, who's done some work, a Jewish American woman who's done some work on this area, as well as having extensive conversations with Dr. Greg Parks of Wake Forest University, who's also talked quite a bit about critical race theory. And it's my understanding that white privilege is not telling individuals that they cannot speak, but it is a term for societal privilege that individuals have as a benefit of their white skin. And I don't think that, and I think universities would be remiss to then say that because you're white, you're not allowed to say anything that's critical of white people. I didn't know that white privilege actually went into that sphere. My understanding is it's just, and the issue is that white privilege makes people uncomfortable to talk about the societal privilege that they have.
Well, to me, what I say on campuses all the time is, if you want to cite instances of racism that we can all find and fight together, that's something that I'm more than willing to stand next to you and fight, because that's obviously stuff that we should fight together. But when you just say that there is a white privilege out there in the ether and that by dint of birth your skin color generates for you an advantage, what you're really saying to people is that your view is less valuable because you have not experienced what I've experienced. And that is an identity argument, that's a character argument, that's not a rational political argument that can actually be taken on in any way. It's more of a cudgel and a club than it is an attempt to open a discussion.
Well, I think it's a demonstrable evidence that through society's demographics that being white has societal privileges that being black does not. But
we can talk about how that manifests, because that's
I'm also interested in what you just said now, is that you would stand next to anyone who has this. So, Mr. Shapiro, my question to you is, for Ms. Dunston, the tying the noose around the campus and writing messages that target African-American young students, would you consider that hate speech, and then would you stand next to her and fight for her?
As I say, I would. This is the first I'm hearing about it, honestly. But
really,
but from hearing about it, maybe because it's local. I mean, I'm from LA. But in any case, I'm more than happy to stand alongside her and fight whatever group was responsible for this. Not only more than happy. I mean, you're talking about the alt-right. Again, I was the #1 target of anti-Semitic harassment from the alt-right last year. So I'm more than happy to do all that. And I think there's one more distinction that has to be made. When we talk about cases like Taylor's, they're horrific, and the administration is siding with Taylor. Okay, the administration is doing the right thing by Taylor, or trying to do the right thing by Taylor, as they should be. And I think that we need to make a distinction between cases where the administration is actively participating in the suppression of speech and cases in which the administration is trying to do the right thing in order to punish people for application of crime.
Shapiro looks her dead in the eye and says it flat out: if someone is genuinely targeted with real racism or harassment, I will stand with them every single time. No hesitation, no excuses. But here's the moment that hits like a freight train. He rejects the blanket claim that skin color automatically hands someone some magical societal advantage. That's not just disagreement. That's calling out race being weaponized as a political club to shut down anyone who won't kneel to the narrative. Think about what she's really doing. Telling you your perspective is worth less, your voice doesn't count because of the color of your skin. That's not an argument. That's a personal attack dressed up as moral high ground. Shapiro draws the line razor sharp. There's a massive difference between governments that actually suppress speech and those that go after real crimes. This is justice versus ideology, and ideology just got crushed. He even brings up his own life, #1 target of anti-Semitic harassment from the alt-right. To prove the point, hate is wrong no matter who it's coming from, no matter the skin color. If you believe in defending free speech and crushing hate from every single direction, no favorites, no exceptions, smash that subscribe button right now. We're dropping truth bombs like this every day. You've seen it everywhere. The political left has turned white privilege into their favorite sledgehammer to silence voices they can't beat in a fair fight. On campuses, in media, and workplaces, it's the go-to weapon to enforce ideological conformity. The academics and activists pushing this aren't building unity. They're deepening division, because their careers, their grants, their power depend on keeping the outrage machine running full throttle. Here's the real danger you need to see. This ideology flips Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream completely upside down. Instead of judging people by the content of their character, it obsesses over the color of their skin. Universities are turning into fortresses of social justice indoctrination, pushing conservative voices to the margins, replacing real debate with mandatory conformity. So right now, you have a choice. You can accept a worldview that tells you who gets to speak and what you're allowed to say based on your identity, or you can stand for the principles that actually built this country: individual liberty, free speech, and equality under the law. In this moment, Shapiro's moment, the future of open, honest debate is hanging in the balance. Are you going to stay silent or speak truth even when the pressure is crushing? The answer matters more than ever. What do you think, patriots? Was Shapiro's takedown the mic drop of the year? Or is the left still going to try spinning this? Drop it in the comments right now. Yes or no, and why? Smash that like button if you're with free speech over identity politics. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. We're exposing the hypocrisy and defending the truth every single day. America first. Always. Catch you in the next one.